Hello. Hope everyone's having a wonderful day. I figured I'd do a nice brief Q&A, similar to yesterday's video, around the same length or so. So we'll be putting some longer videos together over the next couple days. You can probably expect a real long one on Tuesday or Wednesday. Um, Checking out Jaws 3 and 4 today. Playing them basically in the background. I just really love these movies. Something so relaxing about them. Um, Breaking a news story soon in my ongoing discussions with Carl Gottlieb, screenwriter of Jaws and The Jerk, etc. And I'm just trying to get to the bottom of this whole deal about Steven Spielberg and Jaws, as he's now, you know, going to be named a major executive at Universal Studios within the next couple weeks. And my intention is to figure out, is it only up to him regarding a Jaws remake? Where does the Peter Benchley estate come into it? Where do other creatives that were involved in the making of it come into it? Uh, these are a lot of really pressing questions that I have. And about Thursday of this last week, um, he started saying something like, you know, stay tuned till July of this year for more information. And then he sent me what one could only describe as, I guess, a screenplay treatment for what would, very much be a reboot, but is the fifth Jaws movie. Um, so we're kind of in a interesting situation here where I may be going and reporting this news story on my own through a website, or getting some of the information to one of the bigger, more commercial websites. But usually when I do that, I don't get properly sourced. We'll have to see how this all goes. I mean, obviously, it is just a treatment, but it does go to show that, yeah, he came up with it and then he showed it to Mr. Spielberg. So it's not like Steven Spielberg commissioned it, is what my point is on that. So, um, but they do have at least an open relationship enough that he could, uh, feel comfortable to come up with something like as a treatment and then show it to him. Now, I know that their discussions have gone past that point. Is the only reason that this is even a news story. Probably would be a news story anyway. So, as a huge fan of the Jaws franchise, sure, the first movie, but I'm a huge fan of Jaws 2, huge fan of Jaws 3, huge fan of Jaws 4. I find them to be just wonderful, wonderful movies. Um, I'm really excited um, to see that, a fifth Jaws movie could be made. Well, with that being said, thank you very much. And let's go and take some questions, shall we? Cal, living in Seattle. Hi, Cal. How you doing? He notices that I'm wearing this shirt. Wants to know what video game this shirt's from. Well, I won't show the whole thing here, but I'll at least show some of these characters. This character here is called Peter, and he's a phoenix. This is from the Shining Force 2 video game. This is May. She's one of them like centaur knights. A guy named Xylo right here. A guy named Rick. A guy named Lemon. He's an evil warrior that turns to our good side. This character right here is a tortoise that you can name. So I highly recommend that you play this game. This guy I think is called Freja. This guy is called Yarrow. Yaha, and this guy's Yarrow, I believe. And this is one of them healers, Sarah, I believe. And this is Hans. So these are all these different characters in the game. I highly recommend that you check the game out. Um, Shining Force 1's great, don't get me wrong. But Shining Force 2, you know, improves the gameplay. You can pass items to team members a lot easier. I don't really know what the terminology would be about it. It's an advanced role playing game or something like that. It's not like a just starting out role playing game type deal. Nothing like that Super Mario game role playing. Nothing basic like that. This one's highly complicated, and you got to actually find, I guess, this rare metal called mithril, and then you can build better weapons. You can win the game, I think, without the better weapons, but the better weapons sure do help. So I'm looking forward to doing a couple rounds of that game. We'll see when I can do that again. It's such a highly complex story that sometimes I just start playing and I miss, a couple steps, and then it's one of those things that you can keep going forward, but it's like your team is not perfect because you didn't go and get everything you need. So anyway, Cal, that answers your question. This is Shining Force 2. It was for the Sega Genesis system. They've had other games through the years. Can't really vouch for any of them though. But yeah, definitely a lot of cool characters there. Thank you so much for the question. What is my most underrated Sam Raimi movie? And this is Glenn in oh, I remember you. Yeah, I met her at a dog park once. In the Chicago area. Well, thanks so much, Glenn. And she really likes Sam Raimi. I do remember that. Anyway, so thank you so much for your email. Glad to hear that you're doing better as well. My most underrated Sam Raimi movie by far is For Love of the Game. For Love of the Game was a 2000, mid 90s baseball movie with Kevin Costner. So at that point, people were probably tired of him being in baseball movies. He had been in Bull Durham, Field of Dreams, and he had been in all these like movies where he was in the center of everyone's attention. And then here he is, on the mound for most of the movie as it flashbacks, and he's the point of the movie. So obviously it didn't do well, but it's by far not only is his most underrated movie, it's my favorite Sam Raimi movie. As much as I love Darkman, have one that he's made. I haven't seen Quick and the Dead all the way through in years, but I remember not liking it all that much, despite it has a really good cast. Look forward to rewatching that one. But by far his most underrated movie is For Love of the Game. John C. Reilly plays the catcher in it. Really strong performance by him. Strong performance by Brian Cox. A strong performance by J.K. Simmons. Really strong performance by Kelly Lynch. Really strong performance by Jenna Malone. Overall, I think that's most of the cast. A couple other people do well in the bit roles. Very much one of my favorite movies. I highly recommend it. There's a great DVD. Hopefully, Universal Pictures puts together even better DVD for it in the future, or Blu-ray. Really underrated, and there's times where I could say that it's better than Field of Dreams and Bull Durham. I don't know if I'd say that every day of the week, but I put the movie on once and it blew me away. I couldn't believe how good it was. So I definitely recommend it, and think it's a very powerful movie, especially the first time you see it. That's that. This next one also has to do, my answer will have to do a little bit with baseball, as the baseball season has now started. Shabbat Shalom out there, everyone. And this is a very interesting comment or question, I guess, here. They had seen, well, first of all, I might as well say their name, right? I mean, shoot. Larry in New York. And Larry, nice to talk to you. I remember meeting you in New York in 2009. Thanks for staying in contact. Glad you've enjoyed my work in TV and radio. I really do appreciate it. And to answer your other question, I'm on Fox News Radio twice a week, and usually NPR, once every couple months. So I found your question to be really interesting. What is what's the blank from hell thriller of the 90s that got the worst reviews that you think is actually quite good? Thank you. Very specific question. I've become friendly with the screenwriter of this film. This film has gotten nothing but panned through the years. It has an all-star cast from Benicio del Toro to Ellen Barkin to John Leguizamo to Dan Butler from Frasier to other tremendous actors. And it stars Wesley Snipes and it stars Robert De Niro. And it's the fan from hell thriller, The Fan. So it's blank from hell. It's one of the best ones that there is. One of the best blank from hell thrillers that there is. In fact, I'm probably going to watch it for the start of baseball season. Might as well, really. You get this really manic energy, weird energy from Robert De Niro in it. I love when he's driving in the car and he's playing the Rolling Stones and he's just out of his mind with his little son. And then this bitch behind him at the baseball game is all up in his business. She's wearing a Stanford hat. This fucking bitch. He turns around to her and he like cusses her out, and then he straight up like leaves his son at the baseball game to go close a meeting. So not only is he a fan, he's all over the place, but then his fanship is definitely a dangerous variety, and we'll leave it at that. I do want people to check it out. The things that he does as a fan are pretty brutal. I mean, usually negotiations for a player to get another player's number that, make a donation to the player's charity or something like that. But when Wesley Snipes wants to get the number that Benicio del Toro has and del Toro won't give it up, De Niro is going to intervene. This movie is intense. I don't know why critics seem to like other blank from hell thrillers as much as this one. This one had very raw acting, and I guess they were thinking, he's just doing Cape Fear over again, or he's just doing, fill in the blank all over again. And I don't agree. Wesley Snipes, you feel bad for him because he's just this empty, talented vessel of a player, and he's looking for something to define him, and become the player he's supposed to be, and he's basically getting stalked by De Niro. And I find the scenes where Ellen Barkin sizes up Wesley Snipes, because she's like this talk radio sports host, and wow, how did she not get more attention for this role? I mean, seriously, she's really good in this one specific scene between Wesley Snipes and him. Benicio del Toro doesn't really talk too much in it, but he's effective, kind of like an all about Eve dynamic in that movie. Gets me excited talking about it, really. Honestly, what a really, really good movie, The Fan. So anyway, the screenwriter is available on Facebook. You can talk to him. Pretty talented writer, and he was involved in the production of it as well. Just I'm really surprised, as is he, how critics just didn't give it a fair shake. It's like he's always said, they already had a preconceived notion not to like the movie, and they just didn't like the movie, which I guess goes more towards bias and stuff like that. Anyway, so one final question on this Q&A. I really do appreciate it. It's fun to do these short, quick videos. Make sure the channel stays active, and that I can put some more commentaries on the next couple days. Getting some work done on the house, so it's kind of turning into the not necessarily the money pit, but the time pit. The money is nothing. I've obviously been very successful in life, but the time pit. It's the planning, the appropriation of days, the appropriation of workers. Once you have money for things, you actually have to figure out how to spend it, or how to, I guess, spend it best, or make sure your time, because the time is like what I'm saying, my time is more valuable to me. So anyway, that's why there's been a little bit of construction going on in the studio and the walls behind it and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, we're adding on to the house, so should be pretty exciting. Any Barbecue Network fans, you can come get a hotel, but you can get a tour of the studio in the future. But definitely probably stay at a hotel. This next one is from Yuval, an old friend of mine, Yuval from Tel Aviv, Israel. Shabbat Shalom over there. Even though I'm sure the Shabbat Shalom is over at this point. That's fine. It says, what would I like to see Adam Sandler star in next? Wow, that's a really good question. I'd like to see him do something that's not on Netflix, so I don't know how that would work, but I know he did Sandal Wexler or something. Sandy Wexler, Ridiculous Six, The Do-Over, the one where they go to a reunion, Chris Rock and him, and I think that's the ones I've named right there. So I'd like to see him come back in a movie that's not like Men, Women, and Children, which really flopped. And I'd like to see him be a villain. I'd like to see Adam Sandler be a villain, like a really dark villain in a movie. I like to have it be a big budget movie where he's cast as a villain, a comic book villain, or a villain that's maybe the one behind the bank robberies, not doing the bank robberies, but the one that kind of intimidates people into bank robbing for him. That's what I'd really like to see. Honestly, I don't think I'm going to see it, but that's what I would like to see. What I will see him in is probably some other. I don't watch Netflix, but I'll know that he's in some Netflix more movies, which I know he has a big picture deal. But I'd like to see him in a mainstream action or comic book thriller as the villain. I can hope. What about you guys out there? Do you want to see Adam Sandler play a villain in a major mainstream action or comic book motion picture? What about all my other answers and questions? Do you like my answers? Do you have other questions for the show? You can go ahead, post them in the comments at any time, or you can email me at bbqntwk@gmail.com. That's bbqntwk@gmail.com. I get emails at that address, and I get emails at other addresses that I've had through my 25-year career of television and radio. And these live streams are something that I've started to do, so I'm not promoting them in any way. Go ahead and spread the word if you like. We're going to do a 2 or 3 hour live stream Q&A and discussion, perhaps a commentary, and then have Narek on and other guests on the next couple weeks ahead. So go ahead and enjoy the content on Barbecue Network that already exists, and more will be coming soon your way. Maybe even later today, but definitely tomorrow. And every day going forward. I may put another video up today because this one was pretty fun to do. A couple Q&A questions and talk about some news that's pending regarding Jaws. All right, guys. Bye for now. Thanks so much. Shabbat Shalom.